Uh, Sorry about the interruption. There was something. Well, better not to talk about it. Um, so, as I was saying, I entered her online curriculum, and I saw what she was studying. You know, and she was also in one of those endowments. Research endowment like Programa de Iniciação Científica, as I was, and I decided to contact her, pretending that I was interested in her search, so we could exchange ideas and we could collaborate. Um, I wasn't, but what could I have done? I would go up to her and say, "Hey, I heard your sister died in the place where I work. So can you tell me more about that mysterious death?" I couldn't. And again, I know I should have just left her alone. Okay, but the fact is, she turned out to be a very interesting person, and her research was interesting as well. Um, so we met sometimes and start talking, and little by little, um, I kind of steered the conversation to where I wanted until she told me about her sister. Um, so her sister was a very happy little girl, and well, to make things short, one day they found her hanging by the neck in her room, and they really don't know if she was playing or what happened there. And on the wall, she scrabbled, a very strange, very strange. I don't know. It's a picture of that inscription. I don't know what is that, but she scrabbled something on the wall, uh, and it seemed like she was angry or something. I really don't know. Okay, the fact is, after that, I felt really bad, and I told myself I would never, 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 touch that story again because, you know, Jesus, you know, uh, imagine if the sister, the girl at the university, found out what I did. What this is a lot, a huge lack of respect, right? Okay, but the problem is, I don't know. We get impressed with those things, and I started many days. I started waking up at exactly 3 in the morning. Exactly 3 in the morning. Uh, and the first thing, when you have a dream and you don't know what happened in the past of the dream, and then you wake with that last image. The last image would always be that kind of thing on the wall. That kind of symbol, whatever that was. And you know how fear is, right, guys? When you are afraid and then you tell yourself, I cannot be afraid. It's like telling yourself, I cannot be nervous, right? It doesn't work like that. When you tell yourself not to be nervous, you get more nervous. When you tell yourself not to be afraid, you get more afraid, right? It's when you don't have to tell yourself that you shouldn't be afraid that you are not afraid anymore. So it's not something you can control. So I start telling myself, just forget that, stop this stupidity. It's your subconscious messing with you, and you are waking up at 3 in the morning because I don't know, just because you are impressed with that, But that kept going on over and over, and. Got to the point where it really bothered me. It really, really, really bothered me, and I started getting, I don't know, very down, and I started believing things, and I don't believe those kinds of things. So one day I met my friend, Clovis is his name. You will hear more about Clovis, guys, maybe in other days. But I told Clovis about this story, and I showed him the symbol that the sister had showed me in the picture of the room. Uh, the next night, guys, nothing. I didn't wake up, you know, and I didn't dream of the symbol, you know. And 1 week, 2 weeks passed, and I was completely fine. Uh, and then I talked to Clovis again, and he told me that something very strange had happened to him. He had woken up in that in those 2 weeks. He had woken up 4 times, 4 or 5 times, at exactly 3 in the morning, and he saw the same symbol that I showed to him before he woke up. I didn't know what to do, right? One night he thought he saw a little, it's like just the shadow of a little girl facing the corner, right in the corner, facing the corner. He could just see the back, but it was very fuzzy, very blurry because the room was dark. And then I said, well, of course, I'm not going to talk about that anymore. And with time, Clovis forgot that as well. But after 4 months, I don't know, maybe I, I watched a horror movie, or I don't know. I just remember that story, started waking up again, at exactly 3 in the morning. And it was close to Halloween, so on an impulse, guys. For those of you who know me, you'll know that I'm very impulsive. When I'm around people, and I know that something can be fun, and I just tell a story. Even though sometimes I make fun of people and people don't like it, right? Because I like to tell stories, and I just told my students the story again. This time it was the new version of the story, much closer to reality than the version I used to tell in São José dos Pinhais. And it was a group of only teenagers. I drew the symbol on the board, and two started waking up at 3 in the morning, seeing the same symbol. One guy saw a little girl facing the corner. He could and his room was much brighter than my friend's, and he could see she was dressing in a yellow dress, and she would be always facing the corner. She never turned, she never did anything, she never tried to attack him or anything, but she would be there facing the corner. And again, I felt peace. I stopped dreaming about her. And I have to tell you guys, oh, come on, when something like that happens, of course you want to find out how much of it is coincidence, right? So I told the same story to 3 other of my groups, teenagers and adults. And it 2 guys saw the girl, 4 or 5 started waking up at exactly 3 in the morning, you know. So here's the story. Okay, guys. Well, I don't have anything else to say. I just want to show you guys the symbol that I've seen very frequently, and to tell you that lately I have been having some troubles to sleep at night.